All right, we are called to order. We have a quorum.
Oh, here he is.
Perfect. Hi, Steve. Just in time, Steve. We're just getting started. All right, first order of business is to accept the minutes from our October 23rd regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Second, props to Gary for writing this novel.
Here, that was a. You did good.
And
Yeah, absolutely. Any further questions, discussion? All right, all those in favor, because Steve is online, we'll do a roll call. Melissa?
Aye.
Pete?
Aye.
Steve? You're speaking, we can't hear you, Steve.
Sounds like he's not muted, so
Oh, he raised his hand. Aye, okay. Thank you.
Shay.
Shay, aye. Unanimous. Visitors' comments. Is there anybody who is here for anything that is not on the agenda? Hearing none. We'll move to ferry service update. And Peter Wilcox is here.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add since I was here the last time, really. I'm thinking that we need to get together and make some decisions on how to proceed, but until that happens, I'm certainly available to answer any questions, but
Sounds good. Any questions for Peter? Nope. All right. Steve, can you speak? Not yet? Nope. He gave you the finger.
Okay, how about
There
that?
you go. Perfect.
It was we're number one finger, remember that.
I just didn't know, Steve, if you wanted to mention anything about the parking request that you received.
Yes. So, from what I've heard, we have certain amount of, and again, this was new to me, but there's X amount of parking assigned to the ferry crew so they can get close to the boat. There's also the first parking spot is reserved for the lighthouse. And in the winter, not a problem. The lighthouse isn't being used, so the ferry guys take that spot. But they've told me that they're one spot short of a full team if they're all on the island staying and they have to drive and park. And so their request was, is there a way to get one additional assigned parking spot? Primarily, obviously it'll be a year-round spot, but it's really required during the summer when it's crowded and the lighthouse is open. And it seemed like a pretty simple, reasonable request. So I wanted to bring it to the group for discussion, and perhaps there might be a committee that looks into this, or handles parking. But anyway, the request is to assign one more spot. So that's what I'm advocating for and presenting to the group for discussion.
Have we ever been responsible for assigning the spots?
So there is a town Granite Point parking committee
No.
that hasn't met in a while, but I it's the one that helped to manage all of that. So when Steve raises to me, I've talked a little bit to Janet, it seems like something that is worth at least bringing to that committee to make sure that there's no history about, sort of how things, just to make sure we understand how things have been assigned, ask them for this, ask them to review the request and come up with a recommendation, and hopefully that's something that can be done relatively quickly frankly, and, also understanding that we don't have, it's not an immediate issue, but it is something that we want to get taken care of before the
Alright.
next busy summer season.
And it would involve an ordinance change,
Oh, really?
so.
Never.
Never mind.
Jen, are there only 5 spots to the south of the handicap parking spot? I thought there were 6.
Which end of where the handicap is?
Well, the handicap is about 5 up or 5
Oh, I know,
or 6
there's
up.
one there
from
and
the-
there's one over there. About that one, okay.
From the,
There's 4 for the ferry, and there's, the first one is for the museum, here you can have that. First one is for the museum. First one, then there's handicap, then there's
really? I
4.
thought there was a handicap here.
Oh, that's
And
what
not
this
there.
Says.
I don't think
What
that's
is-
right. I think if you look at the parking lot, the handicap is here on the north side of all the ferry reserve spots. And I think there might be 5 already, but they need to be marked again.
Yeah, well, we can check that out and see how many actually. But this
Well,
map
whatever
is,
number there is, the captains told me that they're 1 short, so. I can investigate that part further, but did you say that we have to do an ordinance on that?
there is an ordinance, so it would have to be amended. To add that, allowing them
Huh,
park there, so I can send it to you, or you can look on the codes online under chapter 248.
that's, okay, so. So nothing, so just to keep this rolling. There's no need to talk to the parking committee thing, or should we just look at the amendment, or how do we keep, this is one of those things that should be like, we put a sticker on the ground and we go with it, but that's not the way it is, so.
I think would be good to have the parking committee, there may be something else, they can look at the ordinance and see if it needs to be updated.
Okay.
I mean, frankly, we have a huge parking problem right now, and I wouldn't mind having the committee meet and just
Right, go over.
look at this as a specific, issue and recommendation, but I do think it's something that we've got to wrap our heads around. Even now in the off season, there's cars all the way up the road, and it's just not ideal.
There's about 66 spaces down here available. And that's
Yeah.
excluding the reserved ones, there's 3 reserved, the school, telephone company and Central Maine Power, 2 reserved over by the agent, terminal. Handicap parking by the takeout, handicap over there, museum and the 4, so, I mean, it's probably not a problem to add 1 more to along the edge there, along the grass.
But are you able to reach out to the committee
I
and
will.
ask them to start the process so that we
Yeah.
can get that rolling this
Yeah.
winter?
Are you interested in that, Steve?
I'll be glad to do it. 2 things though. There's just this simple, change that I want to facilitate. And if we're all in agreement, it doesn't seem like it should, 1 more spot. But then there's the bigger issue, as Shay said, that we all see of, how the heck, people are parking all over the place. And so I think there is a need to have that group begin to revisit alternatives to, we just need to define where people can park better. I'm sorry, I can't really figure out how to say this. It's a mess. So how do we help the workers who are, critical to the island to have a place to park without, destroying the wetlands or anything else, I guess I just think we ought to, while it's the winter, it's a good time to start thinking about, is there a way to adjust what we're doing or not? And if it's not, that's okay.
I know it's been looked at several times, they've tried to eke out and change things, but it's been a while, and there's 1 vacancy on that committee. And are you the ex officio for that, or
For what, for parking?
Center Point Parking?
No.
No,
Nobody's ever
Nope.
taken up. Steve, you wanna take up that?
For Steve's committee appointment.
No, I
don't-
frankly, I took up whatever I did the other week on the, with Lauren on, I can't even remember what I volunteered for, but right now, I'm a little under, I'm over here on the mainland all the time for another month or so until I can, and I'm starting to travel the next 3 weeks. So until I can get back, I'm not, but I don't think we ought to give it to me as far as I will talk, if you give me a name, I'll investigate the spot, do that thing, and then talk to the person who's on that committee, because they probably have some history in this previous discussions, and I can bring that back, and then let's see what we find. I want to separate those two items. I don't want to,
Yeah, bring it back to this board or to somebody else? I didn't understand that.
I'm sorry, I bring it back to this group.
After you talk with a committee member?
After I talk to the parking committee individual, yes.
Well, there's 4 of them on there.
All right, well then
I mean, I
I
think
can-
we should have a meeting, maybe you could zoom in, or maybe, I mean, it would be
I can
nice.
set
if
up a
they-
meeting with those guys. Just give me who to talk with and I'll do that.
It would be nice to have a request too about this parking space. Who asked for this?
One of the captains,
One of the captains, okay. Because that's the first thing the committee's gonna say, who asked for this?
okay, but I mean,
But that's fine, you can explain it.
yeah, I will outline everything.
All right, I will send a card out to the committee and see their availability.
Yeah, and just give them my contact information and just say, we don't need to make this into a long thing, just have a
Well,
20-minute.
they should have a meeting. They should meet jointly, not just meet with you. I mean, they need to meet in
No,
public.
that's fine. Okay,
Yeah, so-
all right.
But one of them is Gil Rivera on the planning board, and I think he's leaving town soon, so I don't know if the planning board would appoint someone else. It'd be nice to have someone from the planning board on there, but it's Bob Acorn, Suki, Love, and David Pellington are the 3. And there is a vacancy, so.
I'm on 2 already. Let's take it.
I'm at 7.
Those goes isn't gonna work
Okay,
right now.
well, I'll set that up.
All right,
Just as a real quick thought with this, 'cause I don't wanna drag this out either, very tired. The section of oak, the marked off oak trees there, where that guy had his truck parked and had a tree fall on it, right? Could we invest some money into that and like leveling that out a bit and turning that into a more.
Private property.
That's on private, is that like a right of way for us? Or-
Well, we just use it because it's in the
No,
roads right
but
away.
I think
Uh,
this gets to where I think it's a bigger discussion, but I do think, I know at some point we talked about Taylor Watt's interest in selling that property.
Yeah,
And, I would like to have the committee look at our parking needs more broadly, because I do think, it's an opportunity that's still out there, that's probably not gonna be out there past this, at the beginning of the summer, it's likely to be formally listed. I've heard from a community member who might be interested in helping raise private funds. So I think it's worth exploring.
I thought if you work guys out on Jameson, and that's what sparked the idea. Like, maybe we could just like turn it up a little bit, make that a little more accessible.
Yeah, and we've tried along there. We have put in some fill further up, but,
Bigger conversation for a bigger.
Okay,
I'll check with Gartley and Dorsey and see if there's any update on the liability.
anything else on ferry service? All right, sea level rise update. Our next meeting is next Thursday, the 14th at 4:30. Any questions? Any municipal building project updates? Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Peter, do you think you'll be able to be here tomorrow for the joint?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. thank you.
Yeah.
I know Lauren is not here. Steve, do you have any update on municipal building project?
No, I haven't, I met with them the first time and I haven't been notified of any additional meetings or anything. And I heard you say something about tomorrow. I saw something. Is there another meeting tomorrow night?
Yep. Yes, that is the next thing we're gonna talk about on our agenda.
Okay, I'll wait. Thank you. But I do not have an update on the municipality.
Looks like making good progress.
Yeah.
It was really great.
There's
Yes.
an invoice in the bill.
We're spending the money. Okay, yeah, so upcoming meetings and subcommittee reports, we do have a joint select meeting so the Lincolnville Select Board members are coming to the island tomorrow to meet. It's a formal, informal meeting, an opportunity to get to know each other and talk about specific issues of mutual interest. I had sort of thought that we could just start the meeting with introductions, and then I'm assuming that ferry service upgrades and waterfront in general is good to talk about, and I know that one of them reached out to Janet about and asked for someone from our broadband committee to be here because they're interested in learning about what we did
Nice.
for that, but I didn't know if there was anything else specifically that we wanted to get out of the meeting to make sure we save time for on the agenda.
There was a question from, it's on the harbor committee about where the money that we give them every year, what it's being used for. Because they're starting to think about it being a big chunk of change in the budget, and they just want to like,
For years and years and years and years and years, it was $5,000.
yeah.
And
So-
then they had a lot of damage over there. That's why it went up. When Gabe was here, it went up.
They were just,
Yeah.
they'd like to know a little more about what it's
Great, so more communication and
Yeah,
reporting about
just-
how they're spending the money.
just, yeah, like, it's really, do we need to be giving them 15,000? Could we give them 10? Could we, like,
So
that's all.
Been very sad to report, I will not be available tomorrow. Are you guys zooming it, or is this just in-person solo meal? I think it's just in-person solo,
As far as I know, we
Okay.
haven't zoomed them.
because it's more of a workshop than a select board
Yeah, I
meeting,
mean,
right? Okay.
Are they coming over?
Yes. Are you gonna be here, Steve?
Well, what time does it start again? 6 or 5?
5:30. They're coming on the last ferry, then we're going to have pizza, and then we have a 7:30 Quicksilver.
I've got to check on my evening assignments, but I'll try to come over. And that's at the office there?
Right here, yeah. Are
Okay.
you here, Pete? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I will attend regardless, either on Zoom or in person, but I'll try to be in person.
They're not zooming it.
We're not zooming it.
Okay, then I will try to be there. I'll let Shay know, at midday tomorrow.
Okay.
Is it open to the public?
Yeah, it's posted. I don't
yeah, it's been
know.
advertised.
I know Mert's coming, and I think you just said Peter and,
Yeah,
right, is that what Peter?
yeah, I figured because of the ferry
Yeah.
service, it would be good for him to be here.
And John Rexall, is that who?
Yeah, I think Don and maybe
Yeah,
Mary
maybe
too.
Barry, but broadband.
So, okay. Well, hopefully we
Okay,
can
good.
get a quorum here. If not, it's a workshop, so we'll do our best to wave the flag.
There'll be 6 of them, so all their whole board plus Steve. Okay.
As a medical procedure, it can. Otherwise, I would change stuff, because I was excited about meeting them.
Planning, anything else on that meeting?
Energy committee on the 12th. Sea level rise on the 14th, lighthouse on the 14th.
I thought my house was the 21st.
Oh, I see it on both dates. Maybe we just forgot to erase it from the 14th.
Maybe. Yeah. Let's go with that in.
Pretty active.
No.
Any other subcommittee reports? All right, Janet, town manager report.
I've given you Harbor Committee meeting minutes from, October 17th, the Lighthouse meeting minutes of October 24th. The Bar Harbor Wealth Management for October 31st through October 31st, sub-accounting, that's our capital reserves. Maine Community Foundation, the Health Center Endowment Fund, they only, that's only a quarterly report, so it's at $1,656,344. I've given you a draft of select board meetings for 2025 that you can all look over and see. I just see a couple conflicts and you can make your decision. January 1st, it would have been a meeting. You can either go to December 31st or January 2nd. And then at the end of the year, December 24th, you can change that to the 23rd or the 26th. No, we wouldn't be open on the 26th. I'm not sure how that holiday. But anyway, that's something just to think about.
Okay, no decisions needed tonight.
No,
Okay.
I think I'll vote for the 30th of December for that meeting. Would be like a Monday, is that totally uncouth?
I'll check and see how that works for the payroll. Is that 2 weeks? Because we can't really get paid every 2 weeks. I mean, the payroll could be done. What do?
That would be the Monday this year, but I'm not sure on next
Oh,
year.
yeah, it's probably.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 31 would be a Wednesday, right? You're right.
The 30th would be a Tuesday next year.
Oh, right, yeah. Tuesday, not Monday. But anyway, that's
And
fine.
then we wouldn't interfere with planning board either.
And I'm Carrie's probably working madly on planning board calendar and another thing. Power. I've given you the election tile for election results. To ponder and look over.
can you just, could you read off that just because I can't see that and I didn't get it? Just on the presidential.
All right, presidential and vice president. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, 332. Oliver Chase, 4. Jill Stein, 4. Donald Trump, 115. And Cornel West, 3 with 4 blanks. There are about 462 ballots cast.
Great. How many residents do we have?
How many
Approximately,
residents?
pardon?
Did you say how many residents?
Or registered voters.
Well, I
I think-
guess registered voters, I guess.
Yeah, I think there's about 635.
35.
It always fluctuates a few, some
Yeah.
come, some go.
All right, but that's good. That's a good turnout. All right,
It really was. Yeah, it was a good turnout.
great.
Yeah. That's it for me.
I have 2 things, and we can do them super quick.
Would anybody be opposed to moving up like previously we'd done it where in the winter, trying to look for all the daylight that we have saved, having our meetings start earlier until busy season starts back up. I like 5:30 even, if that's the earliest that we can go. It's just, it gets really, really dark and I get really, really tired.
I'm good with 5:30 start.
I could do 5:30.
Yeah. It's fine for me. I'm here. So.
Anybody want to do 5?
5:30.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I like 5:30. Carrie likes 5:30 better too. So,
When do you wish this to start, madam?
next meeting,
Next meeting? Okay, so.
we need to give people notice though that we're starting at 30 minutes earlier. Would that be?
I'll mark it out on the agenda and just say notice so people can.
Okay. And then run it through March?
What's daylight saving?
That's what I was trying to think of and I
I
couldn't.
feel like it's either March or sometime in March or April.
But the sun starts coming back and people get less scabby around.
It's never coming back.
Oh, can we mute him?
Oh, so sad. Although today was
Oh.
awesome.
Cool, thank you guys very much.
Awesome. Oh, that's
I
a good
appreciate
idea.
just the 30
Okay.
minutes.
Okay, anything else for Janet? You said you had two things?
Yeah, but I'm really happy with the one thing that I got, so
Okay,
I don't remember the other.
there you go. Any correspondence? Okay, old business, setting date for the next committee chairs meeting. I just recognized that we said we would do that every 6 months. It would be in the fall, and the fall is quickly getting away from us here. So wanted to raise it as something that hopefully we could get on the calendar. Does anybody have any preference? I don't remember if last time we did it right before a select board meeting or if we had it on a separate day.
I think it was a separate.
I think it was
just me and you.
It was,
Was it a Thursday?
I think it might have been a midday kind of time. I'm gonna look it up.
It feels like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's weird.
That's
Yeah.
weird, yeah. Cause I
No, I
had
do.
4:30, which is.
4:30.
I had
It was
4:30.
Thursday at 4:30.
All right, well, Thursday at 4:30 between now and whenever. How about Thursday the 21st?
But 4 o'clock
Oh, right.
lighthouse, so I'm not sure which, which day the lighthouse is actually meeting.
Okay, come on.
Well, do we want to move it to the 20th and do it before the select board meeting? Could you?
Which is
No,
starting
because
at
we've got
5.
stuff on Wednesday, never mind.
Starting at
Yeah,
5:30.
Wednesdays are harder.
Right,
We could do Tuesday the 19th, though, that would be fine.
I can do Tuesday the 19th.
I presumably, I
Yeah.
don't do anything, so. Tuesdays are a long day of work for me.
Oh.
I slow down, but.
Mhm.
Should not be-
4:30?
4:30, is that a good time, or? I think.
Can I ask, sorry to bot, what is
Yep.
this? This is new to me.
So we, kind of pre-COVID, Arch had started the tradition of basically asking all of the different committee chairs to get together, twice a year, just as a way, each committee report out in 3 minutes or so, what are the committee's top priorities, what are they working on, what are they proud of, just kind of as a way to coordinate across all the different things that people are working on and making sure that we're kind of staying with them, yeah, that we know what's going on and that people who may find cross-purpose things, can collaborate as much as possible, so
Great idea.
we
Great
started it again in the spring, and it was pretty well received, and people agreed that they wanted to do it again in the fall, so this is just kind of following up with that.
We say 5
Great.
o'clock, though.
4:30.
4:30.
It was actually in February when you did it.
Wow, so,
That's a good time.
right, so it's a good time, we're getting
Valentine's Day and Thanksgiving, I like it. It works out well.
4:30 on the night,
19.
and
Okay.
you'll advertise that to the committee chairs?
I will get that out to them.
Great,
Awesome.
thank you.
I will happily be the timekeeper there.
Perfect.
The what? The timekeeper. We set an alarm and gave everybody 3 minutes to talk, that way we could get through all of them.
Yeah, because otherwise, if people even go over, go 5 minutes, it's a long,
Yep,
you gotta keep it moving.
and it was because I was like, boom, done.
Next.
All right, next, new business. Is there any new business? Any other business?
Well, is this appropriate time to talk about maybe or floating the idea of discounted ferry tickets, or is that different time to do that?
For who? Just for who? Just what?
Okay,
What do we-
so, I've been trying to think of different ideas that, we have an issue with the high cost for individuals that are, live on the island who are contributing to the island, but getting off the islands, one of the big issues as ferry prices continue to go up. And I thought, do we want to talk about and float an idea of, and I don't, I'm a capitalist, but this is a little anti that. But if there's people who qualify for, I don't know what the qualification would be, but to have, the idea is there a once a month or twice a month opportunity that people could use a discounted, and this would have to be a town sponsored event, and maybe we do it as a test during the winter months on the ferry to give people a discounted rate, and it comes out of the Islesboro, it comes out of our funds to see if that's could allow our neighbors to be able to go to medical, all the things that people need to do, but put off because it's so expensive to travel off the island. So my thought was bring the idea up to you guys and we can all determine if there's any interest in exploring that. And if there is, kind of start to just state that idea. And, I'm sure there'll be a lot of reasons not to do it, but looking for, this group to look at ways to make it more affordable for our community to stay here.
This is, sort of similar to what I think John King has brought to us in the past, where I think when he approached them about the island resident rate, the ferry service basically said, that's great, if the town wants to administer something, like, power to you. And, I think it's a good suggestion, something that we should think more about. I mean, obviously, there's some administration of this with the town office, and we would need to come up with criteria that feels fair and reasonable, but I think I would be supportive of having, a group work on it to see what makes sense as a test case and,
Something like Jen McFarland may be helpful, determining who, she does have her ear down to the ground. She didn't know if someone, because she does transport people. I mean, she does do that. Give people rides, but that may be because they don't have a car, but she would know. So it would be us purchasing the ticket and giving it to the person?
Well, we wouldn't purchase, my thought was, let's say the ticket's $30. At the center there, you would have to, they would actually come there and they would get a ticket for $20, let's say, and the town is subsidizing the difference to the like you would give them a ticket, but they're getting a full, but they're only paying $20 and the town absorbs $10. So it's a burden on the, not a burden, but it's extra work for the staff.
right, yeah, I think what we heard from the ferry, I mean, I think it's worth having a group investigate and see what's possible. What I feel like we heard from John King was the ferry service saying, that's great, if the town wants to purchase a bunch of tickets and then figure out how to administer it, that's great, but to me.
Right.
Feels like going this route, it would be taking on that administrative burden at the town office level.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's one of the reasons why, we'd have to look at that. I mean, what does that entail? I mean, and then who qualifies and who doesn't qualify?
But being fair, I can say that.
Right.
I didn't hear that.
Violations and different things like that come into, because now if you're asking them for medical appointment, it's a very nice can of worms. But I also think that this is partially what we have the Islesboro Community Foundation for. And the ICF provides a lot of tickets to people as long as they reach out to them.
Some kind of thing that the general fund could be utilized for, to help people pay for their bridge.
General assistance?
General assistance fund, maybe perhaps advertise like this.
Conceivably, yeah.
Maybe we can
What,
Well, maybe not
but it's
advertise, but like
interesting.
make it a little more known, that,
Yeah,
like, if you're
right.
in this position, because like, I think,
Yeah.
type of people who are gonna be in
And
the
again-
shoes might receive it.
Jen McFarland, this outreach fund, that's
Right.
outreach worker, she has I think we have a budget of like 15,000. And that could cover tickets and things, and we've never, not gone over there, so she could almost be very helpful.
So does it make sense maybe for, Steve, if you are interested in taking this on, do you want to start with a conversation with Jen McFarland, and then I know you are not able to be at our next select board meeting, but maybe we could plan to add this as a formal agenda item in our meeting in early December. If,
Yeah, I'd be glad
I guess
to.
if you're ready, don't,
No, it's just an idea at this point, but I'm looking, and I think we all should kind of think, are there other things we can do to make the island more affordable and stuff? And this might not be a great idea, but talk to Jan and we can see.
I will prep Jen for you about this, because I know the health center, they help people. I mean, there's a lot that goes on that no one knows about, but there's nobody that doesn't get off here because of a ferry ticket, we always have someone involved, we can help people, but,
Well, I think that's great. I mean, and some of those things, the more we market it, and that's a poor term for this, because the more we, allow people to know that different services are available, that's all good. I mean, so,
yeah.
but if you could prep her, and then I'll be glad to follow up.
All right, good,
It's a neat idea.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth pursuing something.
yeah.
thank you, Steve. Any other business? Next up to approve warrant number 10.
So, second? I know.
Any questions, discussion? All those in favor, Melissa? Aye. Pete?
Yep.
Aye.
Steve? Jay?
Aye.
Aye. All right, appointments. We have one appointment tonight for Janice Pretzel to be appointed to the Main Islands Coalition.
So moved.
Pete?
Ready.
Any further discussion? Any discussion at all? All right, all those in favor, Steve?
Aye.
Melissa, aye. Pete says aye, Jay says aye, that's great. We now have 3 people. We've gone from 0 to 3 on the Main Islands Coalition, which is very exciting. Have them not asking.
No question.
All right, chair comments. I just want to say thank you to all of the election volunteers and officials for what I know was a long day yesterday, and it was nice to see so many people come out and vote and to stand in line with neighbors.
A lot of visiting going on in the hallway.
Yeah. And that, the other thing I should have mentioned under sea level rise, just bring up now, is that, in the past, 2 years ago, we enrolled in the, Maine Community Resilience Partnership, which opens us up for eligibility for different grants. To stay enrolled, we have to re-enroll every 2 years. So members of the Sea Level Rise and the Energy Committee are working together kind of offline to try to update those documents. And soon are going to have drafts ready to share with Janet, and I'm hoping Fred can also take a look, because many of them are public safety related things. They're all sort of surveys that we filled out in the past, so it's just reviewing what we've done. But I'm hoping to bring the stuff here for the select board to approve at our next meeting on November 20th, just so that we can get re-enrolled, so that we can apply for another grant in December.
Need another whiteboard.
Pete?
Good to see the crowd yesterday. I don't think I've ever waited in line about here. That was nice to see.
Melissa?
Talked to Tina today, it was for, as far back as she knows, it was actually a record turnout in person. And at 3 o'clock yesterday, they had already tied the numbers from the 2020 election. So anything after 3 o'clock was just extra people. So thank you for that.
Steve, you get the last word.
Do you guys have 15 minutes?
Nope.
No, I want to congratulate Pete on the first year of his business. I think the entrepreneurship was
Thank you.
great. It really provided a really fun, neat new place for us to congregate, and so I just wanted to thank him, and hopefully it was profitable so he does it again.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
got big changes coming over the winter too, so. As big as I
And
can.
I'd like to get a discount for that kind of plug.
We can talk to the general assistance fund, we can see about making it very affordable for,
Get me a burger fund.
talk about.
No.
smash burger.
But it was great. It was really, I thought everybody loved it. So thanks, Pete.
Glad to hear it. Thank you.
All those in, all right, sorry, I got to the motion to adjourn in my head. All right. Good night. Good night.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.